So here we go. This is a very, very awesome word. I don't think I've ever preached on this one. It's the story right after the story I told at the shelter today. And it's about, look, you've been here a lot. So I know you know a lot of the stories. And I might have talked about it, but I never preached it. There's this lady. It's the lady, and it's called the persistent widow with the coin. The lady that kept going to the judge and kept going, and she kept going, and she was persistent until the judge granted it. You see, if we struggle with anger, or we struggle with gossip, or we struggle with addiction, or we struggle with depression, or we struggle with loneliness, we got to keep going to God until there's a breakthrough. We got to keep going to God until He opens up a door. We got to keep going to God until He answers. A lot of times, I don't believe in that name it, claim it, take it home and frame it. I don't believe in that you pray once and you watch something happen. You pray until something happens. That's a fact. That's a fact. You persistently pray. You go to war. You acknowledge and you lift and you lift and you lift and you lift until something breaks. Colossians, hey, watch this. Let's see here. We got to pray till something happens. We got to seek Him in situations. A lot of times we give up before the breakthrough. A lot of times we give up before the doors open. A lot of times we give up before He blesses us. You're about to get a godly woman. Man of God's about to come through. God's waiting. He knows you've been faithful. And then you take that shortcut. Right? Then you take that right instead of that left. You take that back door instead of that church door. And then next thing you know, you're in the same situation you were, because you know you got to let your yes be yes and your no's be no's. And sometimes we know the answer. Sometimes we know God is in it, and sometimes we know God ain't in it. If she ain't a woman of God, if he ain't a man of God, if they ain't hollering Jesus and you're all about Jesus, watch out. Watch out. But now God can bless it. God can bless something if God's in it. But if God ain't in it, don't you think He's going to bless it? God blesses the mess. But we better know what the mess is. And we better know how to walk away from the mess and how to give Him the mess so we can bless. Does that make any sense? We got to persist. Hey, guess what? Guess what? My ear don't work right now, but God's going to heal it. And I'm going to continue to pray. I'm going to continue to let people pray. They're going to pray until He does bring the healing, until He does bring the deliverance. Until my ear is open, I'm going to pray, I'm going to trust, I'm going to believe, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to be persistent. God, I'm waiting on You. God, I know You're going to heal my ear. God, I know You can heal. God, I know You can deliver, and I'm waiting on You. We got to wait. But what are we doing as we're waiting? Are we losing faith and begin to walk in faith, or is our faith growing? Because we know that God is building something. We know that God is structuring something. We know that God is moving. Hey, listen to this. Some of us want our kids back. Maybe he's making situations happen to where you can be successful with your kids. Maybe He's waiting for something to be removed in your heart so you can be better to your kids and not lose them this time. Nobody wants to hear what I'm saying. And do you know how we hear His voice? We continue to go to Him. We continue, God, why don't I have my kids back yet? God, why ain't I being used in the ministry yet? God, why ain't this happening? Why ain't that happening? You persistently go to Him, and He's going to give you the answer. He's going to open up the door. He's going to make direction. But we must be consistent, persistent. Hey, when we were dope fiends, and drug addicts, we was persistently grabbing that bottle. We was persistently calling that dope man. And if we had 2 or 3 other connections in case the good dope wasn't there, well, I can go give me some all right now. I can't get you no good, but I can get you, remember that? Huh? No, man, it's a drought, but I can get you something. Huh? Guys, remember that? It's a drought, but I got something. All right. But we persistently went until we got something. So why are we giving up before we get it? If addiction is that bad in our life still, then we're not constantly going to him and giving it to him. You got to give it to him every morning and every second. You got to bear your cross every morning and every second. Because here's the thing, if you don't wake up to him persistently every morning and give it to him, pray to him, get in your word, hey, it doesn't have to be forever. But here's the thing, it shouldn't be a drag. It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be man, I don't want. Because when it's like that, push through. And then it'll start being a want. It'll start being a need. It'll start being a must. Is it a must yet? Because it's been a must a lot more than it has been lately for me. But you know what? I'm going to persistently go to him until it's a must, like you wouldn't believe again. Do you see the pattern? You got to go. Seek, knock. Seek, knock. Let me read the word. The word of God says in Luke 9-10, he says, I tell you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be open. It didn't say how many times, but you got to keep going to that door. God, that addiction's there. That depression's there. The voices are there. God, I'm here again. God, I'm here again. God, I'm here again. God, I'm here again. And eventually he's going to go. Going to raise his hand. We're going to open that door. And you're going to walk right through. Watch this. Galatians 6:9 says, and let us not grow weary of doing good. Living right is doing good, y'all. Living right is doing good. Don't get weary of doing good. Don't get weary of being sober. Don't get weary of praying. Don't get weary of those things. And if you get weary, ask him for strength. Listen to this. For in the due season, you will reap a harvest if you don't give up. Amen. Give up. You see, there's a battle in there. There's a push in there. There's a drive in there, and sometimes we give up before the blessing. We give up before the doors open. We give up before he sends the man of God. We give up before he sends the woman of God. We give up before he moves, and then he's going, and then he puts you right back in that place again. To see if you're not going to give up, to see if you're not going to pick up that bottle, to see if you're not going to call that number, to see if you're going to go to him and let him do it. That's it. We either let him do it or we suffer the consequence of it for not persistently going to him until he opens the door, until he makes a way, until he does something, because he will. Look, if we want to grow, draw near to God. If we want to grow, draw near to God. If we want to grow, draw near to God. We can't expect to grow. We can't expect to fight temptation. We can't expect to feel deliverance, move in deliverance, and walk in deliverance if we're not near to him. And he says, draw near to him and he will draw near to you. He just doesn't draw near to you when you're not seeking him. He doesn't draw near to you when you're not praising him. He doesn't not draw near to you when you're not acknowledging him. He's there, but he ain't close. He said he's near the brokenhearted. The brokenhearted that are acknowledging him. The brokenhearted, not the brokenhearted that's in the... Right, it's so dry and so old and so stale, it's like the bones. But that's a different sermon. Look at this, Proverbs, watch this. Listen, James 1:12 says, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. What's that mean? You guys know what that means. You're under trial right now, right? Enemy waving a bag at you. Enemy waving a bag at you. Enemy waving a stud at you. Enemy waving a bottle at you. Whatever it may be. But blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, right? Blessed is the one that continually goes until there's a breakthrough. Blessed isn't the one who gives up and gives in and gives it to him. You're going to feed your flesh or you're going to feed your faith. But you're going to do one or the other. You see what the flesh does? The flesh is death, but your faith is what gives you life. Do you see what I'm saying? Your faith is what gives you life. You could easily went, I don't even know what the type of stuff you do to survive. I don't. But you could easily nutted up today and went on your way and went and collected your medication and got into trouble. But you decided to jump in the church van, right? Do you see what I'm saying? You decided to follow him. And when we follow him and we seek him and we go after him, good things happen. Those peckerheads, those woodpeckers, you guys hear them? Pretty soon you'll start hearing. No, there is. And they start knocking, bro. They look like this building got shot up by some gang members, bro. Yo, they will start pecking. They will. Chase them off. Hey, being lazy, listen to this one. Being lazy and inconsistent isn't good as a Christian. We must be consistent. Proverbs 12:27 says, the lazy do not roast on any game. They don't eat. You know what I'm saying? The lazy do not roast on any game. But the diligent feed on the riches of the hunt. You hear what I just said? The lazy do not eat on the game. That means they ain't going to catch nothing. They ain't going to get a bull. They ain't going to get a deer. They ain't going to get something to survive. But the ones who put in the work, the ones who are diligent, the ones who seek God, the ones that have their Bible in the hand, the ones that are ready to receive a message, the ones that are ready to really walk, talk, live, and breathe in him, they're going to be blessed. They're going to be rich. Hey, he'll give you what you can handle. I'm not saying, hey, if you can handle it, you're going to be rich. If you can't handle riches, don't think they're going to come from God physically. Because it says it's hard for a rich man to enter heaven. It's possible. It's possible, but it's a distraction. We want those heavenly riches, those kingdom riches, that peace, that joy, that comfort. Here's another one that we don't want to hear. That long suffering, that self-control. That Holy Spirit gives that. How do we get more of the Holy Spirit? By being in the hunt. How do we not be as tempted as much? Well, hey, you see, you're going to be tempted more, but you're going to be more in tune to God and closer to God, and temptation is going to bounce off you like a rubber ball. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that hurt a little bit. Boom, oh, that hurt. You might start getting wobbly, but it'll rise. Strength will rise. Joy comes in the morning. His mercies new every morning. He is healer. He is deliverer. He is reviver. He is restorer. He is God. Right? Let's go to Luke, you guys. Let's go to Luke 18. Watch this. Man, this is a good one right here. Luke 18. Yep, Luke 18, 1-8. Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and never give up. Giving up is giving in, y'all. Right? If you ain't gave in yet and you ain't say I quit, you ain't threw it down, and he's still going to follow you anyway. He's going to follow you like a cat that ain't got a home. God ain't going to give up. God ain't like that. Watch this. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in the town who kept coming to him with the plea to grant me justice against my adversary. Do you guys see this? You see, she kept coming to him. And here's the thing. This dude wasn't even godly. This judge wasn't even godly. I want you guys to peep this out. For some time, he refused. God's going to tell you to hold up. You're not ready yet. Whoa, put your pants on, dog. I'm just saying, I'm being real. A lot of us don't like to hear that. Watch. But finally he said to himself, even though I do not fear God or care what people think, yet, because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice so that she won't eventually come and attack me. You see the persistency there? That's why we continue to pray. Jesus said, I got a parable. I want those who have eyes and ears, let them hear and let them see. He said this is about a situation that we should never give up. So here goes this lady going to this ungodly judge and continue to go to him that he may grant him something. And the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Who cry out to him day and night, who persistently go to him day and night. He's going to grant it. He's going to move on your behalf. He's going to give you all that you need. He's not going to give you all that you want. He's going to guide you. He's going to open up doors. He's going to shut doors. He's going to give you direction. But you must seek him day and night. Do you see this? Look. I tell you. And the Lord said, listen to what the judge says. And will not God bring justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice as quickly. And quickly, however, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on this earth? So here goes this lady. And it doesn't need a day. The lady, they said, God, let me tell you something. God grants things to people that don't deserve it. How much more will he protect and direct for his people? If you can't get over something, keep going to God. If you can't be delivered from something, keep going to God. If you're continuing to go through things, keep going to God until something breaks, until something shakes, until something comes off. You can't give up, you can't give in, you got to go in until something happens. You got to be very persistent. A lot of people say, oh, just pray, bro, and let God deal with it. No, pray until something happens. Pray until you see a difference. Pray until you see a door open. Pray until you see a breakthrough. Persistency is the key to what we need to be men and women of God who operate in faith, who walk in victory, talk in victory, and seek his face on day in and day out. Here's the thing. How many of us are going to be found faithful? How many of us are going to move in faith? And the Son of Man's going to find us coming to him day in and day out. Night and day. Night and day. Night and day. And I know it's like, dang, Pastor. Dang. Well, I was jacked up. You go ask my wife, you go ask my son back there that's hiding behind the booth back there, he probably thought his dad was crazy. But I was in that room for hours, yelling, crying, screaming. I had to go to him day and night. I had to go to him persistently. I had to go to him because, there was nobody else that I felt understood me. I wasn't going to go to Brother Bo with the crazy thought stuff I was thinking. He probably thought I was crazy. I wasn't gonna tell him, what was running through my mind or what I had to give to God or what I was thinking or how scared I was at times or how nervous I was at times or how many times that this and that. No. I had to continue to go to God. I had to persistently go to God. And I remember him always saying, the unjust judge, just like the unjust judge, you got to go and you got to continue to go until something happens.